Hello again, football fans. Welcome to week 2 of the playoff season. We got 8 teams left out of an initial 16 of the area interest. A lot of them at home this week. A lot of them stand a good chance of moving on to round 3. We're going to kind of go the same way as last week a little bit, talk about some of the picks. Yeah,
worked pretty good. Like I said, we'll still do You Pick 'em on the website. That'll be up later this afternoon. Again, 8 games. You pick the winners of all those. We're going to talk about 5 of them, it turns out, on the show this week. So we'll back to a little bit of the old format. But go ahead and pick them all there. We'll show you our picks on Friday morning, and then check back at Stern News Varsity Friday night to see how you did. And like I said, it should be a good week. This week, it's stress ball week because while the opening round of the playoffs seems to be a little easier for some of our better teams, the struggling teams are gone. These are all good games, and these are going to be good games from here on out. So the coaches will be squeezing these while they're watching the video starting this week.
Absolutely.
I guess we start at the bottom. Let's start with the 1AAs. How's that?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
That's first game. That'll be James Keenan at Goldsboro. James Keenan was the 5 seed in the 1AA pod. They're at Goldsboro, 9-3. And they did play New Hanover earlier this year, so we've seen them a little bit. Why don't you talk about that one a little bit, Aaron?
Yeah, we saw them in week 1 in New Hanover. They lost in that one 27-6. But over the last 5 games, in 6 of the last 7, Goldsboro has not allowed more than a touchdown. They've pitched 2 shutouts in that span, and with the exception of one 62-28 win over North Duplin, they've outscored their opponents 268-20 since October 1st. They're at home in this one. Keenan might be a little outmatched. I like Goldsboro to win this one just based on their sheer dominance over the final stretch of the season.
They've played really, really well at home. The thing is, their conference was a little bit weaker than James Keenan to this point, so you would expect those scores to be high, but I don't know if you expect them to be that high.
That's pretty inflated.
That said, James Keenan's on a roll, though. I mean, again, they did what they needed to do last week and beat Union to avenge a loss. So Tigers have to feel good at least going into that game. They think they got at least a chance to win.
They put up points. They give up points.
Yeah.
See who makes the stops.
There you go. There you go. The other game in 1AA East around here is also a rematch from the regular season. This is East Columbus at Pender, and they played pretty early on.
Yeah, they did. They played real early. Pender, what they've been able to do is play really, really well at home. They're home again. Their one loss was to Wallace Rose Hill. In the last 2 weeks, they've outscored their opponents 124-13. In 8 of their 11 games, they've put up more than 30 points. East Columbus has only put up 30 points twice all year. So if you look at the battle of the offenses, Pender, I think, has far too many weapons, plus they're at home. You really like what Pender's going to do in their chances here.
In this first game, East Columbus hung tough for a half. I believe it was 8-7 at the half, and then Pender scored 4 touchdowns after the break.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be that kind of game again, but I don't think East Columbus will get blown out. But I just don't think they've got enough guns to keep up with Pender. It was Shaq Hooper early, and now it's Javon Powell late. Okay, we'll jump into 2A at that point. We'll stick with the East Central Conference champion. That's East Duplin. They're playing First Flight at home. That's a long drive down here from Kill Devil Hills, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at these 2 teams, 2 really good offenses. Both teams are averaging around 36 points per game. The difference here is some defense and some travel. Like you said, First Flight's got to travel. They're giving up nearly 23 points per game. East Duplin, just 12. So if you look at 2 big offenses and one defense that's slightly better than the other, couple that with a long road trip, you got to like East Duplin to hold serve here.
I think so, too. Brian Aldridge said last week he's a little afraid because First Flight does everything. They don't just run, they don't just pass. They'll put it up wherever they need to. But at the same time, that's such a long drive. If you've never done that drive from here to Kill Devil Hills, it's bad in a car. It's probably 3 times as bad on a bus. So big advantage to the Panthers in that one.
Another one you might want to just take a plane to.
Well, there we go. Well, that's why they're First Flight. The other game around here in 2A, that's a Waccamaw Conference rematch. Champion South Columbus now 11-0 after last week's another beatdown from the Stallions. They play East Bladen coming off a thrilling road win at North Johnston.
And the rematch of this one, the first game during the year was played at East Bladen. This one's played at South Columbus. The result of the first one, obviously, South Columbus's win. They're home. They're undefeated. I mean, there's a lot more you can say. East Bladen is going to put up a fight here. They're a very, very, very good squad. I just got to like the home team who's on a roll.
I really think that's what it's going to come down to. Can East Bladen make those big defensive plays to keep themselves in the game, because we know these two teams are going to score points. South Columbus has found a way, though, to force a turnover here and there and make a stop, and that usually gives them enough to make a 2-touchdown lead, and then you're out of your game plan, and then you're in trouble.
The one thing to worry about with South Columbus, in their first 4 games, they gave up just 21 points. They've given up 101 since then.
Well, like I said, but again, better teams. South Brunswick, East Bladen, good stuff. Speaking of South Brunswick, we'll go up to 3A now, and this is a 3A second-round game. The Cougars are at home against Southern Wayne.
Yeah, and right here, South Brunswick, so many offensive talent. We've seen this in the passing game, in the rushing game, in the receiving game. They have talent all over the field. Southern Wayne has failed to reach 21 points 6 times this year. They've won close, but they've won low-scoring games. It speaks a lot to their defense, and they might be able to shut it down. We haven't seen anyone shut this offense down yet.
No.
And South Brunswick has put up 21 points in all but 1 game. So
yeah, exactly. They will get their points. The question is, can you keep up?
Yes.
And boy, I don't know. That's going to be awfully hard. Nice win for Southern Wayne last week to go up to Hertford County. That's another long drive game that the road team actually pulled off. So, but can they do it again? We'll see. So,
absolutely. A lot of traveling in just 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. The other 3 games that you'll see on the website, by the way, are Albemarle at Mount Airy. That's the defending 1AA state champ, playing the 1A finalist that lost to Wallace Rose Hill. They moved up a classification this year.
And a thing to note in that one, Albemarle has 27 seniors returning from that team.
That's amazing. That you can be that good, and have that, win a title, and then have 27 seniors come back. Also, 2 4A matchups, Jack Britt at 71st in a great battle up in Fayetteville, and then 2 teams that that New Hanover played this year, Southern Durham at Southeast Raleigh. So those should be some good ones.
And those 2 scores with Southern Durham and Southeast Raleigh, both really close games, 14-7 and 13-12. So you figure those 2 teams, if they matched up against New Hanover, relatively equal, that could be a really good one.
I think so. I think so, too. Let's jump to the schedule.
Absolutely. Like we said in the 3A, Southern Wayne at South Brunswick right there. It's a 7-3. Southern Wayne got through that first round, like you said, on the road. First flight at East Duplin in the 2A. Also in the 2A, East Bladen at South Columbus. In the 1AA, James Keenan at Goldsboro, like we talked about a little bit. East Columbus will be at Pender. And then the big 1A game, North Duplin at Wallace Rose Hill. Title defense, they're still rolling.
Like I said, Chuck Carey talked a little bit with North Duplin coach Hugh Martin and Wallace Rose Hill coach Joey Price. This will be the first time that these 2 schools have played each other since 1983, I believe he said. So long time for 2 county rivals to take a break. Joey Price says that this is going to be a playoff atmosphere just because of the rivalry thing involved, and he hopes that his team responds as well as they have with all their other rivalry games this year.
Well, it should be a good one. We're gonna get to a bunch of them. We've got 8 teams left. The way we figure it, there's a pretty good chance a good 5 might still be here next week.
Oh yeah, like I said, we'll have a full show next week too. That's not going to be the problem, I don't think.
Absolutely. Well, you're already on the website, so keep checking out what we have right here, right now. Come back on Friday night. We'll give you all the highlights and check back what we have then. Then be sure to come back again next week because we're going to be rolling throughout the playoffs.
Round 3, here we come.
Check it out, guys.
Touchdown, Patriots. J.D. Pound.